I did a tour of this area just the other day, but now these lilies are really starting to open and looking fabulous. So I thought I'd show those. This is Kate with Blooms in the Yard. And today I'm going to do a tour of the rest of my front yard. We did this sun border the other day. Here is my potager inside the fence. But I'm going to start with this area over here. This area is brand new, the area where the rocks are. I had a huge cottonwood, and I'll definitely include some pictures, maybe videos of the cottonwood. The trunk of it took up this whole area. We took it out this February. It was really big and leaning towards the house and very hollow. So it was definitely hazardous. This year I've just decided to do some annuals in this area while I figure out what I want to do permanently. In the front I have some salvia plum, something plum. Gosh, I'm terrible with names. I really thought I would be better. With some sunshine ligustrum. These rocks, someone took them off of their fireplace. Kind of a friend of a friend was like, hey, somebody's got all these rocks they're giving away. And so I got them last fall and they sat on my driveway all winter. And when that tree came down in February, I knew I wanted to build a little wall here. I love doing walls and making different levels. So I have some miniature, these are the are they petite knockout roses? Petite something, and I have 3 of them. I cut them back, so they bloomed pretty well, and I also just moved them over here. So yeah, I think they're doing okay for having just been moved. This poppy I left, even though it's in an awkward place, because it's the only one that came up that has this fringed look. And I'm just waiting for it to go to seed. Then I have this autumn joy sedum. It was around the outside of the tree, and I had a couple little things around the base of the tree, and so I moved it temporarily and brought it back. The rest are mostly annuals in here. So I have this cardinal basil, which is just starting to look really good. And then this salvia is the Sirius Blue Salvia from Baker Creek. And I'm not sure about the dahlia. Then I have a sand cherry. These lilies are the ones I just moved from outside of my vegetable garden. This really healthy looking green leaf on the left is adratum. It's an annual. It's really aggressive. So I kind of put it on just the edge of the street here thinking it'll survive. And hopefully I can keep it some distance away from other things that might be more important. I have some sage in here. This was the Monday blue sage that I cut down. And then more of the serious blue sage. And then some dahlias. They might be Thomas Edison. Some more cardinal basil. And then growing along the street here, when I first moved in, the mulch kept washing 3 doors down. If we'd have a big storm, my neighbor would be like, you can come get your mulch. So I planted the creeping phlox there, and that's done pretty well at keeping the mulch from washing away. I actually did mulch, and she said, you can come get your mulch. And so I did rock. And the next big storm, she said, you can come get your rock. So that's why I knew I had to do a ground cover. This vinca, I don't know the name of it. I grow it from seed every year, and I just collect the seed. And then there's some eucalyptus here, which my friend gave me, which she grew, and more of the cardinal basil, which I just stuck in there because I didn't have anywhere else to put it. Some veronica, I don't know the variety. It was divided from someone. You can tell that I'm kind of a thrifty gardener. Like most of what I have, I've either grown from seed or gotten from someone. More of that veronica that's, again, everything in this area was just planted this year, so I expect that to fill in pretty well. And then I just did some landscaping for someone, and she gave me some purple irises, so that's what those are. There's Russian sage. I just took out some Blue Boy bachelor's buttons. They were just starting to look kind of sad. Actually, they're right over there in my garbage can waiting to be picked up. So there's a little bit of a bare spot behind the Russian sage, but now I had some Russian sage that I can now grow in and fill in this whole area. Same with this cardinal basil, not looking nearly as good as the other that was getting more sun. So that should fill in now that I took those bachelor's buttons out. There was also a really beautiful snapdragon in here that I've cut back. We'll see if it flushes out again. Really tall Potomac Royal Snapdragon. Peonies, these are those light pink ones. Sarah Bernhardt maybe. Some ground cover sedum. And then this celosia is so glorious. I love it. This is my first year growing any celosia from seed. Sunday wine red celosia. And I love the leaves. I love the flowers. It looks really good next to this sedum. And so those peonies were here. So this side of the bed, from here over was there, and from there to the left was the big cottonwood tree. Even though it was huge, it was limbed up really high, like 40 feet limbed up, and it was 80 feet tall. So most of the shadow went into the street, and so I did grow sun plants here, even when the cottonwood was here. This is a massive Walker's Low catmint. I'm going to cut it down, but every time I come out here, it's covered in bees. So it'll happen sometime. This is some purple sage that I grew from seed a couple years ago. It's a perennial sage. Blue Queen, I believe is the name of it. And then this crepe myrtle is one of the very few things that was here when we moved in. Oh, there's a big, huge weed in it. Okay, so I'll deal with that. And then I have a purple smoke bush that I just planted. It's probably too close to the crepe myrtle, but I didn't have anywhere else to put it. That's kind of how I garden. It's like I buy something because I've been wanting it for a while. I see it for really cheap, and we'll figure out where it's going to go later. Here we just have some brilliant sedum, spruce. I'm totally spacing out on the name of that. This viburnum is opulus viburnum. Now, I don't know that for sure. I got it from Walmart and it just said viburnum, but it has a lot of white balls, blooms in the spring, and the leaves are really different than most viburnum. They're almost like a maple leaf shape. And so as I've kind of researched, I'm pretty sure it's the opulus viburnum. Down in here, I just moved this lady's mantle. I moved that lady's mantle last year to see if it would do well here. It wasn't doing well on the other side of my driveway where I don't get water a lot. I just can't reach the water over there often enough for it. So that's done well here. And so I went ahead and moved 5 more little pieces of it. And then I'm not sure what kind of hosta this is, but this is a sweet summer hydrangea. It's a panicle hydrangea. And then I have some golden oregano underneath this spilled wine weigela. This white flower is diamond frost euphorbia, and then some rose marble salvia, and a little bit of sedum that I've propagated. And there's another one back there. This boxwood is the baby something boxwood. This is one of the sun sparkler sedums. And then this is the Zahara cherry zinnias. Got quite a few of those in this area. This peony is coral charm peony. And I had to move it. It was way too close to the boxwood. And when I moved it, I ended up getting several pieces. So that's why it's kind of small, because I've just pretty much just divided it. I've got a couple of natives in here. I every year buy some natives from the native sale, and I have no idea what this plant is, this tall one. So that'll be exciting when it blooms to see what it is. There's a lot going on in here. Some black-eyed Susan vine, which when I get these poppies out of here, will look a little bit better. This is the cup and saucer vine, which I grew from seed. Some more of that brilliant sedum. There is a dahlia in here. A little dahlia hasn't done much yet. Another mystery native. We'll see what it does. This one in front, someone could probably identify this for me. It is a native. It kind of had these little purple flowers, and then the stems started red, and then like the red like moved out to the end of the stems. So that was kind of interesting. It did get cut back because of mowing, but there's a lot of, I don't know that can live right there. It's a little too random right there. This is the Husker Red Penstemon, some more Diamond Frost Euphorbia, and this is my little raspberry patch. So the raspberries are finishing up, but they actually started inside the fence, and they've grown out, and that's okay with me. I use this little trellis to kind of keep them under control. If they start sprawling, I just kind of thread them back through that trellis, and then I think that it looks kind of nice too, just some interest. Then I have a Walker's Low catmint here that I've cut back. Lots of golden oregano in this area with the Zahara cherry zinnias. There's also some gomphrena in here. A little bit of larkspur still left. Sorry, I really don't know the name of these dahlias. I just buy all different colors of purple dahlias, and then some lamb's ear. This is the side entrance to my potager. Then I have Baptisia. It blooms blue. I do have a dahlia hiding in here. I'm pretty sure this is cream de cassis. You know how those Baptisias just splay, so it seemed like it was going to have plenty of space, but it might not now. And then I have some Husker red penstemon and a bunch of snapdragons. These are the dark pink Potomac snapdragons. They're not very dark pink, are they? I don't think I would usually put this light pink next to that purple, but it's okay. And then there is a zinnia in here too. So that's the zinnia, that's the dahlia. But you can kind of see my color scheme. I like pinks and purples. This is the scabiosa that I grew from seed. Then I have a little Henry Itea, this lime green looking bush, some pentas and some lamb's ear. So that's the outside of the potager. We might go in there, but I want to continue around here. I really love the color scheme in this area. I call this the rock garden. This big boulder was here when we moved in. It was upright. I'll show a picture. It slowly fell over and was diagonal for a long time. And one day I just had my kids and their friends all jump on it until it went flat because it looked silly when it was diagonal. But last year, just kind of a fluke, I had this red coleus and lime coleus. Like, I had these same two in there last year, and I loved the color. So this year, this whole color scheme is kind of based off of that. I have the Zahara cherry zinnias, some different coleus. I don't really know the name of any of them. A little bit of red pentas and the purple basil. This plant in here, which the green looks nice right now, but it bloomed. It is a foxglove beard tongue. It is a native and it blooms white in May. There's a little bit of alyssum that just came back from last year, but it hasn't really, it's not looking great. I should probably just get rid of it. Some daisies. So here I have the zinnias, the coleus, and a little bit, I love this drumstick allium, but it's really been overtaken by other things. So I just have a few little tiny ones left that are bending over. I'd like to start fresh with some drumstick allium in another area where they can get the sun and the space that they need. This big green here is more of the ageratum that's kind of scary aggressive, but it looks so good later in the year. It'll start blooming in July or August and bloom all the way through and just get better and better. I just cut that spirea back because it was really laying on the ground a lot. So that's why there's kind of a hole. This is some of that Kramer's Rose coxcomb that I showed in my video of the sun border. And over here, I pretty much just have the same plants. Gosh, my finger keeps getting in there. The same plants as on the other side. The coleus, purple basil, zinnias. This is a weigela. Is it more colorful weigela? I just love the variegation on it. I have 3 big Annabelle hydrangeas along my front sidewalk, and between those I have some Hixie yew, and then the ground cover is Pachysandra. So I know that these Annabelle hydrangeas are really taking over the sidewalk. We only have about a foot left, but I just love them, and you know what? People can walk on the grass if they really need to. So it doesn't bother me. I have actually cut the biggest blooms back, but it's still kind of taking over. So I've tried to make the shape of this grass to be like it feels like a path. And then it just kind of opens up to this little grassy area. So then I have a little path that goes from the front door to my potager, because I use that a lot. Like if I need to come out here and get any herbs, basil, cilantro, oregano, I've got it all out here. So, okay, we're gonna venture in here even though I haven't gotten to clean it up like I wanted. This area with these 3 trellises has peas in the spring, and then I just plant a tomato in the middle of the peas. So when the tomato starts, it gets a slow start because it's surrounded by peas, but it will definitely fill in. And so I really love the sun gold tomatoes because they're just so prolific and you get so many. I'm gonna try to fix this a little bit. And I just leave the trellis here because it does get big enough that they kind of just flop onto the trellis too. In this area, once the poppies get cleaned out, then we pretty much just have some pots. So the one pot, ooh, my water lily's opening. It's so hard to even see the pots with these poppies right now, but I've got some celosia, some pentas, a really big red kale. I think it's red Ursa kale from Baker Creek. And then here's my water lily pot. Which I'm going to talk about in another video. And here I have some scaevola and just kale and celosia. This is my strawberries, and I've planted a bunch of other stuff in here too. There's some straw flower, which, okay, I think I'm probably supposed to cut this back because it's like, this is what you want, right? Like that's the pretty stuff. And so I think maybe you're supposed to cut it back before it starts to open, but I'm not sure. But it is, I do think they're really pretty. So I've got a bunch of straw flowers in this area. This area is looking pretty good. It's our peppers. So on the bottom I have some decorative peppers, which should be purple. And then I have some peppers, which my friend grows every year. So I don't know, she just gives them to me. I've got hot peppers, red peppers, orange peppers, yellow peppers, all in here. And I don't know any details about them, but I probably wouldn't even grow them if she didn't give them to me, but kind of fun to have them. Another dahlia, the red kale, some asparagus. And then back here, you can see I've got another sun gold cherry tomato growing in with some zinnias and some larkspur. The larkspur I'll cut back soon. So you can tell that my vegetable garden probably has more flowers than vegetables. These are my green beans. And in this area, about 2 weeks ago, it was completely full of poppies and larkspur. And so that's why the green beans maybe don't look fabulous, but I'm hoping that they'll, get with the program and do well. So then I have this red kale, which I really grow more to be decorative. I just think it looks kind of cool. And then I did move my climbing rose, it's Lady in Red climbing rose, into the vegetable garden because the bunnies kept eating it. Unfortunately, I don't have any blooms to show you right this second. Those are really spent, but it's a very classic rose and has a wonderful scent. It's very sweet. I don't really like the perfumey rose scent, and that this one smells fruity, so I love that. And I've just got some white begonias down below, and I like this oregano. I just put this in. It's like a variegated oregano, and I think it's really cute. The hose goes over this corner a lot, and I need something just low growing that could kind of take it, and that's doing really well there. So I've got my basil, and then down here I have parsley, and to the left, rosemary. And then this tomato is Magic Mountain. I think it's really pretty how it grows in these clusters. Got some red ones coming down here. Again, prolific. That's kind of what I go for because the big tomatoes just don't do well, and then they end up getting that rot on the bottom. And so the little tomatoes that make a lot, I can just use a bunch of tomatoes and get the amount that I would with the big tomatoes. So it just works better for me. This stuff kind of sprawling out here is cilantro that I'm waiting to collect the seeds on. And then on this side I have more of the zinnias, and in this corner I do some dahlias as well. So that is the potager. We have over here the raspberries, lots of raspberries. I've been getting like a bowl a day, starting to slow down though. By my front porch, I have these 2 Adirondack chairs. And then an astilbe and some hostas. Oh, there's a plastic bag in there. I have these 3 big boxwoods. These have been here. One of the first things I put in when we moved in, just $15 from Walmart, but now they're probably 3.5 feet around. I have this AC is kind of loud back here, but this is an Empress Blue hosta. So a lot of people comment on this because it's very large, but I love it right here. And the cars and the trash cans and stuff, I did not clean up the garden at all or do anything for this tour. I just said, oh, it's a nice day, I'll go do it. And I have 2 teenage boys, and my daughter is 16, so we're going to have yet another car in the driveway. I would have had to move all their cars for them, so I just left them. Here we have the stringy sedum, and this is a peony division from that coral charm on the other side of the vegetable garden. This is a magnolia tree, which there's a story to that. It was $4 at Walmart, and it started very small. I wasn't even sure if it would live because it had no blooms, no leaves. It was on clearance. And then I have this row of arborvitaes with the lamb's ear, and I love the simplicity of this area. And I just wanted to leave some grass for people to get in and out of the car on the driveway. On this trellis, I have some black-eyed Susan vine. Over here, I have some daisies, and this is a firelight hydrangea. This is where I had those ladies' mantle. There's one left. I wanted to keep one over here in case all the rest died, but I will move it, once the other ones are established. I just don't want to lose all the ladies' mantle. I have a dahlia back there and a couple of hostas. I'm not sure if that dahlia will bloom. I just had so many that I was like, we'll stick it back there. And then I have just a little bit of ground cover sedum, and then this tall sedum is lime something. Coral lime? I don't know. I'll look that up if I can find it. And then these iris they bloom like yellow and purple, kind of like a magenta or a mauve. So kind of an interesting color. Just to cover up this electric box from the street, I put this sea green juniper. This is a lilac, which has more of the fuchsia, not like the traditional lilac color. And then over here I have 3 peonies, which I moved maybe 2 years ago, so they're still kind of getting established. And they are like a reddish purple, really full double. Oh, this big bush is the burning bush. It's actually in my neighbor's yard, but I'm happy to have it there. Well, some people are controversial about the burning bushes, but I'm always happy to have something big and established. Okay, I think I covered most of my front yard, so I'm gonna stop there, and thanks for watching.